Guys, hi. Your friend Tori here, Geelong-Flipper, Uncle Flip. Put your seatbelt on, Uncle Flip. Be safe. Be safe in the wild. All right, let's get on with it. Let's talk about things, all right? So, first things first. I did a live last night. By the time you see this, it may be a day away from now. You may have actually seen a live since then, but it's the live that you didn't see. So, I was live last night, and to my shock, horror, within about 8 minutes, my live was taken down. And to say that that is a shock to me was not even an exaggeration. As you guys know, I love doing live streaming, and I love chatting to you guys when I can in person. So we get that direct interaction, and it's been beautiful. I've really enjoyed it. So last night I made a rookie mistake, and I want to quickly discuss that. During the live stream, I tried to show you guys something that was well worth looking for out in the wild for you to resell. And that was a Nerf blaster, a pew pew, right? The AI, it was a Halo one. Now, a while ago I showed you guys, I found a Halo one, a Halo Nerf, and I don't know if it's because it was a live stream that it went a bit nuts, but the AI that runs YouTube picked it up and shut me down because, well, when you think about it, I don't blame them. I just think, you know, it is kind of, and then wouldn't let me do any other, I couldn't log back on. I appealed it because it was a toy gun, but all you can say is, I appeal this. I don't know that a human actually looks at that. It came back pretty promptly in the middle of the night and said, no, we don't uphold your appeal, but there won't be any penalties. And at first the conjecture amongst the community was that we had a troll hitting a report, you know. It wasn't. The AI picks up that you're holding something that looks like a weapon, and especially in a live stream, because unfortunately tragic things have happened around the world where people have been unalived. I'm being very careful about what I say now on the video. It has made me somewhat paranoid, and I do think it was only because it was a live stream, but yeah, it isn't a good thing. But I am grateful, as bad as this sounds. Like, you know, I like doing the lives because I get to talk to you, and it does help the YouTube algorithm, because it's another video that I've uploaded, because after the live it goes to a regular video, which means more people can find our community, can find out about what I'm doing, learn from my mistakes, and all the altruistic reasons why the Geelong-Flipper channel exists, okay? But yeah, I must admit, I sat in shock, and I turned around to Ali and I said, I've just been kicked off YouTube, not off the live. And she's like, it'll be okay, you know, there'll be some good reason for it. She's the voice of calm when I am freaking out. And yeah, look, it took me about half an hour to go, you know what, this is okay. Because, you know, this sort of stuff happens. And so sure enough, I get the message that the live was taken off because of handling a firearm. It's a plastic dart blaster, but I can get why a machine wouldn't understand what it was. They'd just go, oh, that's the outline of a weapon. I'm going to shut this down in case they're going to do something stupid that will permanently traumatize people. But all I was trying to do is educate. That's all I was trying to do. I was actually trying to help people by showing them this toy. So here is, well, this little segment will be called Uncle Flip's Tip from the Thrift. So here we go. Let me just chop this, and I'm just going to talk about it. Tori here.
Your Uncle Flip.
Geelong-Flipper. Hey guys, Tori.
Your mate Tori.
The Geelong-Flipper here.
Tori here.
Geelong-Flipper.
Me, Tori.
Tori here.
Tori here, the
Geelong-Flipper.
How you doing? Welcome to Uncle Flip's Tip from the Thrift. Don't quit. All right, guys. So, what I want you to look out for when you are out in the wild are the Nerf blasters. Those things that look like weapons that fire foam darts. They are worth good money. A while ago, you saw me buy one for $5. It went on to sell for $139. Yesterday, when I was out and about, and I did post it on the video, I found some more. I found one that was the same as the one I'd found a while ago, and I also found a Nerf pump action blaster from the Halo series. Now, the Halo ones are the hot ones to look for, so keep your eye out for them. There's also a zombie series, Z. You'll see a Z on, or a Z if you're in America. You'll find that Z on the gun, and it looks a bit ragged. That's a zombie series Nerf blaster, also worth good money. There are other ones such as the Fortnite series ones. Now, those ones typically are not worth as much money as some of the others, and there will be Nerf blasters that are not worth much at all. So please make sure that when you find them out in the wild, you are checking them thoroughly, because generally thrift stores and op shops do not charge much for these blasters, yet they are worth good money to you, the reseller. In any case, I hope that helps, and if you enjoyed that tip, then subscribe and hit the like button and the thumbs up and the whatever format I'm posting this on. And goodbye for now. That was professional. Okay, so yeah, that happened and I was in shock. Other things that shocked me earlier on in the day was my friend Judda from Diary of a Flipper posted a video slamming a reseller, and I'll let you guys go over there because he deserves the traffic. But in the video, he shows another so-called well-known reseller who is bragging about loading up storage facilities with rubbish and then preying upon people who buy them and flip storage units, basically for the stuff that he wouldn't even donate. And he's laughing about it and calling the purchasers suckers. So I would say go over to Diary of a Flipper's page and have a look at Brad's video, and then think about who you might be watching on YouTube. And I'm just saying that because I found it on his. I'm not going to take away his thunder. He did the right thing, I believe, because the person in question is literally telling and bragging about doing it and calling the poor person who made the purchase a sucker. So it left a really horrible taste in my mouth, because a lot of people, sometimes we work really hard to build, you know, a good reputation for doing the right thing, and then it takes one person in the YouTube space. At the moment, there's a couple actually that are shining examples of what not to do. But yeah, reseller YouTuber politics is there, unfortunately. And I know people all love a bit of drama, but I would like people in our community to be optimistic and positive wherever they can be. We're not always going to agree, but yeah, that loading stuff up to rip off other people and then calling them suckers and bragging about how much money they made, it's not a good look. So go over to Diary of a Flipper's YouTube and you should be able to see that video there. And I appreciate Judda for making it. I'm about to get a coffee and a toasty, and then we're going to go over to the offsite. We're going to pretend that we're handy people. I've got a drill. I'm going to do stuff with it, and I'm going to order my food. So the food's ordered, and I'm looking forward to woofing it down. I don't know if I'll stop at the oppos on the way through. Ali is already at the offsite. We're going to move that A-frame up, or at least drill the holes in the bench that we can do it. I'm excited for that, and nervous about it. Always nervous when I've got to do stuff. Look, I'm handy, but I doubt myself before I do it. Like, I take my time and I'll get the job done, but I doubt myself right up until it's done. Then I go, oh, I should have been okay with that. I'm just going to get my food. All right, so just waiting on my food. I'm going to turn this off for a little bit though. It's nearly flat, so I'm going to chuck some power in before we get to the offsite. All right, guys, welcome to the offsite. So in case you're new, this is our little warehouse. So all this stuff along here is listed stock. Anything above this line is unlisted, and endless opportunity. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. All right. So there aren't a lot of orders. It's pretty early in the morning, and I done picking and packing and punching yesterday. So we will just grab this stuff. I was going to be lifting up the bubble wrap holder, but thank goodness I actually measured, and I shall show you what I mean. Okay, welcome to Handycam mode. My name's Tori, I'll be your host. So at first I was going to basically get the bench here. It's got a lip there. I was going to utilize that wooden strut going across. I was going to bring it up to about here, zing the holes back through, and elevate the whole thing. But Tori and maths. Okay, so there's that much of a gap. It's about the actual A-frame is way too long, so that ain't happening. No, it ain't happening. Other things I need to do is I do need to get some casters for the Daniel table. Need to get this stuff off. We tried to do that last time, remember? But unfortunately, the Oppo's just got a whole heap of Thomas the Tank Engine stuff and lumped it together, so it is not a complete set. Instead, there's that bag, there's that bag, and somewhere else there is another bag. So that is something for another time. At the moment, the display area, I've just got some of my books that I'm selling. Just look up Tori Favreau on eBay, but make sure it's actually me, the Geelong-Flipper, selling it, because there have been people selling my books, book companies and stuff. I don't know how they do it. They must get them from Amazon as well, but they won't be signed by me. And the Ushi is there just taking the place. I've got to get a Care Bear in. We always need a Care Bear overseeing the workspace. So I've got a few Care Bears at home, not my gifted ones, and which have been sent to me. And guys, if you do want to send anything through to the channel, oh, that is the other bag of Thomas too. If you do want to send anything through to the channel, it's PO Box 7002, Hyden, Victoria, 3216. All right, back to my mug. So yeah, some of the logistics stuff that we got out of the way there. I love the packing station. I want to get some boxes for vinyl, only a few. And I also want to get some of the 150 by 150 by 150 boxes. Though I did look on eBay, they're good for shipping mugs. You may have seen in the how-to section, Rylan shows us how to package mugs, and it was a great video, so I really appreciate it. I want to get those same boxes, but they look expensive, like 100 of those boxes. The ones I found was like 53 bucks. 100 boxes for 53 bucks. That adds up. Anywho, let us find some orders. I have woofed down my toasty, which is good. Love a good toasty. They make great toasties. They're just very expensive. And so we got a croissant for Ali, a coffee, and I got the toasty and my coffee, 32 bucks. It's expensive, but it's yummy as heck. So let's have a look at these orders. Now, I found Naomi's book at home, so that part was taken care of. I was worried about that yesterday, so that will be on the way. And this was a good sale that came up afterward. But I see it's in tub 40, so we'll just get the tub out, and I'll have to check carefully. I had mentioned in the past that I have not sold a great deal of wrestling figures, and it's just the way it is. And lo and behold, I complain about it. They're not a viewer, but I've sold a few wrestling figures. So let's see if we can locate everything we need to locate, and we'll go from there. All right. All right, getting sorted. Okay, so I killed the video for 2 seconds because I knew I had to move a lot of stuff to get tub 40 because it was down the back there. So there we go. I didn't have to bother you with that one. But yeah, so out of the blue, I had a customer say, "Hey, will you combine shipping if I buy a couple of wrestling figures?" And hell yeah, I will. I'll combine shipping on anything I can to save the customer money. It's sensible, guys. You get more business. And at the end of the day, I'm here to make money by selling my stock. Yeah, great. If I can break even or save a little bit on my shipping, great. But at the end of the day, it's about the selling the stuff that matters. So let's have a look here. Like I said, don't believe they are a viewer. If they are, great. But I'll say a big thank you to Andrew. Thank you for buying the wrestling figures from me, mate. And let's get them ready for you now. So there was 2. And I did reach out and say, hey, do you want more? And at the moment, this is what we are getting in this particular shop. So, but guys, don't be scared of asking the question. Customers will like to know when you've got stuff that they collect or they're caring about, and you reach out and go, hey, I've got this, I've got this extra thing that's part of the thing that you like. No customer is ever going to not appreciate that. So always reach out to people and say, I've got something extra. So this is Macho Man Randy Savage. This guy here, he's old. They're all vintage figures, but they're still highly collectible. I liked the wrestling when I was younger. I wouldn't know. I know who he is and who a couple of the older ones are, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anyone except for very high-profile wrestlers from the current setup. So Randy Savage, and the other one was Scott Steiner. Once again, it's a name I recognize. Something else too, and it's surprising to me. So maybe not this one per se, but for wrestling collectors, the bootlegs are very popular as well. So when you see some toys that look like absolute garbage, I hate to say it, but compared to how good the real ones look, they're actually really popular, and they sometimes sell for substantially more than what the real Jakks Pacific ones do. Jakks Pacific were the main wrestling, that I recall, the main manufacturers of these wrestling toys, and were extremely popular then. And I think the neat thing is now, as adults who still love their wrestling, because it's so much fun. It's like, the ridiculous thing is, it always shocks me. Like, we go, oh, that's a fake sport. They get so badly hurt doing it, which is not good. It's terrible. But when you look at the injury list of popular wrestlers, or if you read, I read a couple of their biographies. I read one he was called Mankind. I really liked him back in the day. And he wrote a book called Have a Nice Day, and it detailed the injuries sustained during this fake sport. It's just a crazy realization. This guy is awesome. He's so comfy and cuddly. Not the wrestler. Okay. Just in case you weren't looking, I was holding up this. All right, let's get that stuff put away. Tub 40 does need to go up on a shelf at some point. I'm just making room. But till then, that's fine. This guy was crazy comped well. I think over $100 for this little cat dude. I thought that was cool. Glad I found that at a Savers. But yeah, so we've got our wrestling figures, and of course I will be, I'll wrap them up in some bubble wrap, and I'll just quickly go through how much I got for them for you. Let's have a look here. So total order, $22 for Scott Steiner, and I got $30 for Macho Man Randy Savage. And Andrew also paid the $20 shipping, and of course that will be bundled nice and easily into a, wow, will it fit in my new best friend? We'll find out. I think it'll go in a small satchel, but otherwise I might even just put them inside a padded satchel. I don't know. But I think it's going to fit in this mailer, which means I'll be able to ship it for $4.28, and I'll be able to pass that saving on, building a good rapport with the customer. So they are always really good wins when we can make sure that our customers win, we win. I'll get a repeat customer, I hope. Like I said to you guys the other day, it's weird as to me, I buy these wrestling figures because I know they're popular and I see other people having wins with them, yet And I know my prices are in the right threshold too, obviously, because I've got a sale, but they just don't tick over as well for me, whereas my plush sales are picking up. And that's because I'm listing them more, I guess, and eBay's picking up that, I'm a kind of a big deal in the plush world, Ali turned around incredulously at me. So that was worth me saying it just to get that reaction. Ah, okay. Oh, and by the way, guys, if I've seemed loopy, I know I normally do anyhow, but I've been up since 4:30. All right, I think it's, what is it now? It's nearly 11:30 in the morning. So 4:30, 11:30. I've been up for 7 hours, right? Cut a fella a break, okay? All right. Yep, loopy. Okay, Tub 47. That is a bookie book, the thing that you read. It's one I've had for a while. It was a bit of a hit and miss when I bought it, and it turned out to be more miss than hit. But it's now out of the shop, so I hope that the buyer enjoys it. It's going over to Western Australia. Generally, like non-fiction does very well on eBay. If you're looking into getting stuff, always don't be fooled. What you're going to see on my store is a lot of mass-produced paperbacks. It's before I was learning properly about it. I just love books, so I was just buying books. Try to look up reference books. Try to look up obscure reference books. I remember one time I found this really obscure book about something about the sun, and I bought it for $2, and I think within a day and a half it sold for $50 or $60 odd. There's been crazy books that I've just old paperbacks. I've got like $150 for a paperback book. A David Gemmell book I sold just recently, you guys saw, back in the old offsite, and I got I got more than that. I think I got hundreds for that book. It was a first edition, and that's the thing too. Collectors, they care about that sort of stuff. So when you're selling books, please, I'll give you an example here. Say this Captain Marvel book, and I know that won't be worth anything ever. Photograph that though. Photograph the back. So if they want, they can look at the back image, and then they can see what the story's about. But then also hop inside the front cover, that you can see if there's any foxing, or that's when the pages go yellow. But get to this page here, and it gives all the information about the book, including if it's a first edition. So you can check by looking at the dates, and then you might be able to say, well, this Captain Marvel book is a first edition, and you can quite readily add a bit more money onto it. So that's just something to be very aware of. Mass market trade paperbacks. People tend to want to buy these bigger books more than the smaller novels, okay? And generally also with these ones, they are better to bundle. This was part of a rookie mistake. So I've gone back to some of my James Pattersons, and I am bundling them. So I generally pay $1 to $2 in the op shops for these. And so if I bundle, 10 of them together, I could quite comfortably get between $40 to $60 for the bundle, plus postage. Make sure you're charging that postage. Can you hear that magpie? If you're not from Australia, that's a magpie. Being a bird. I was watching a thing this morning in the wee hours, and I was looking at the evolution of the Velociraptor, and someone has gone through with computer magic, and they've recreated the scene from Jurassic Park where they're being stalked by the Velociraptors. But what they did instead was they rendered, it was still to the same quality as the Jurassic Park dinosaur, but they rendered the Velociraptor the way that they know it would have been based on evolution and scientific discovery made about the creature. And it's fascinating to me because it's like, it apparently wasn't a scaly reptile. It was like, pre-bird, like that's what Velociraptor, somehow cut my hand, I don't know how. Yeah, that sucks. No pun intended. They had feathers all over their bodies. And so in this particular, it's believed that the claws were more stretched out like wings that had feathers all over them. So someone has rendered that, and it is actually nightmare fuel to see these massive two-legged hunting birds / lizards. And I was like, imagine all the stuff that we have thought for the longest of times is the way things are, or the way things is. No, that's not right. That doesn't make sense. But only to find out that through science and discovery, no, that's not how it was at all. I find stuff like that absolutely fascinating. You know what I don't find fascinating? When I chat to you guys so much, I bypass the book I was looking for. That's not fascinating. That's stupid. All right. So the book is called Justice, and it'll be fun to see if it's in here. I have been having issue with finding some of my stock lately. And it's a matter of learning and getting better at doing stuff properly and paying, like, ironically, a bit more attention to detail, like when I'm chatting to you guys. But every time I do it, I learn something from it, and I've been able to go in and fix some stuff before it does go wrong. But that doesn't exclude the fact that I think I've now got almost 3,100 items in the store. So there's going to be a lot of admin required in the form of doing stock taking at some point. So I acknowledge that. And what I would say to you guys is, before you end up with as much stock as what I've got, make sure that you are stock taking. Please and thank you. Because otherwise, yeah, stuff can go missing. It was funny. Well, not funny, but actually odd. Some stuff that I actually thought was listed and had seen listed, it wasn't listed anymore. So things must eventually go to a certain point where they decide to remove them. Okay, this is the book. It is called Justice. Okay, and it's basically a philosophical book about the justice system. Well, that's my impression from the back. Anyhow, I paid $1. It went for $7.65, which sounds like a very long talk for a $7 purchase, and with shipping on top. Now, I do say it every show almost, but I charge shipping. I believe you should too, but everyone does have their own thoughts on the subject. Some people believe that charging shipping is detrimental to sales, that it puts people off from making a purchase, whereas I have tried both things, and for me, I had been burnt by free shipping. My own fault. I didn't plan very well with it. But from that point on, I charge shipping. I make sure the shipping's fair. And a lot of the heavier stuff I do calculated. So that's where you weigh the stuff and you measure the dimensions of the packaging, and you pop it all into eBay, and it very accurately works out what the postage should be for the customer. But please do bear in mind, it does not factor in any packaging material that you might be using. So there is that downside to it, but at the same time, I'd rather lose $2 on a box or whatever, or on some bubble wrap, than to lose $80 sending something over to Western Australia that is the wrong dimensions or a bit too heavy, and to be, paying the piper for that, as you guys would have seen a very long time ago. Except for the fact I worked out an Australia Post hack, I would have paid $80 for something I charged the customer $21 shipping on. And that is, I think they're working their way around this a little bit more now, though, to be honest with you. If you send in a regular size package via Aussie Post, obviously they can't put in dimensions to work out the shipping. And so they did it on weight alone. Now, I don't know if that is still the case. Please check before you do start doing that just willy-nilly, thinking you'll get away with it. It is far easier now, in my opinion, like when I showed you guys how to do calculated shipping. and there is a video about it. It's easier than what you may think. Doing calculated shipping, all you got to do is the weight, the dimensions, and all I do is I pretend the item is in a box. If it's big enough, there's a very good chance it will be in a box. But in the past, if something was rectangular or box shape, all you had to do was cut an edge off to make it an irregular shape, not a rectangle, which technically meant that they couldn't measure it up properly, which also meant they'd have to ship by weight. That was what that video was about. It was fairly well received. I was trying to save people money. Doesn't mean that that is still the case. I've got absolutely no idea. So I pretend that everything is a rectangle from now on. Weigh it and put those dimensions into eBay. It'll be a lot safer and take out all the guesswork for you and the customer. All right, so we've got that little bookie book there. We'll just throw this back up in its place. Well, we won't be throwing anything because it weighs heaps, but you know, I'll place it up and I'll do an old man grunt. That was exaggerated for the sake of the video. It was still heavy though. All right. Now, this is the only other thing to pick today. The Goosebumps book for Naomi is at home, ready to go. And I'm thinking now that I didn't end up doing what I was going to do today. The aim is eventually to, well, we've moved it back a bit, which has made a lot of clearance area. I'm thinking I will get a power board and zing it into the side, and then we'll move the label printer out here that I can complete the whole packaging sort of scenario in the one hit, which will be far preferable. So I'll have to bring the laptop out here. Not the end of the world. I'll still probably list at home because I do like being at home and playing the TV, and you know, it's just good. So I'll probably still do that. Our last purchase though that I am stoked on, and this one is I am really thrilled about. I'll show you it. I'll get it out. It's one of those weird things that you would not think of when you're in an op shop. But I am going to show you something now that will give you the tools to know what to look for. Okay, so let's just say this is a very small item that I either paid $1 or $3 for. I cannot recall exactly. I know it was cheap, and I sold it for $63.50 plus the shipping. It's going to Texas, and I'll just dig into the tub. I've had it for a little while. It's not an everyday sort of thing that people buy, but people who know what it is will want it. And I'll show you this as well because it didn't sell even though I was told that the customer wanted it. So I still have one street shark left. I sold the other one. The guy who bought it said he wanted it, but you know, sometimes things change and people don't want to make the purchase, so I didn't hear back. So that street shark, just in case you were watching the video and thought it was accounted for, is still available in my store. And who knows, if the guy's a viewer, it's still available in my store. And I just put everyone off buying it. That's okay. It's been kind of weird lately as I undo this stuff. I just found an item. I'm going to show you it quickly just as we get the real item that I'm looking for. This tiki has been getting a lot of interest. It's just it's a red Sith Trooper tiki. It looks cool. It is brand new, but it's just one of those things where I keep getting offered a lot less than what I want. And in this case, I keep saying no because it is cool. It's a limited edition tiki mug, jug, glug, and no. So that is just one of those things where I think sometimes you just got to stick to your guns. I only paid $5 for it, and I think I wanted 30 or 35, and I don't know if it's the same person because I can't recall the name, but they do. I keep getting offered $20 for it, and 5 into 20 when it's a limited edition thing. No, I'll hold on to it for a little bit longer, and you know, once it hits that 365-day mark, then sure, I'll smash it down in its price. Another bolo to look out for if you find them cheap, NEO new jeans. So these sell really well. Ironically, I'm showing you something that hasn't sold, but this stuff laughing. Ali's laughing at me in the background. Here I am showing you things to look for that don't sell. It's your Uncle Flip. Not that you're selling your Uncle Flip. He does a bad enough job of selling himself. But that is a good brand. New is popular. And please do look for it. You guys have seen when I have sold new jeans, I've shown before, and nudie jeans as well is another brand to look for. If I can give you advice with the clothing, there are, and I'm going to regardless, there are a lot of brands that we don't know, right? That's pretty straightforward. A lot of brands that we don't know, and a lot of brands that we can all learn about. But it's all right, sweetheart. I was just having a drink. I wasn't dying here or anything. Ali's checking on me because I stopped talking. Brands that we can do with learning about, because there's some really surprise ones that are out there that aren't your run-of-the-mill brands, and you're like, oh, that's a weird name. But, you know, at some stage, I'm sure Dolce & Gabbana was a weird name too. You know, so just because you haven't heard of a name doesn't mean that it's not worth something. And half the time when you do hear or see names that you don't recognize, chances are it's from a specialty designer, a specialty brand, or it may be that it is some sort of limited edition that an online retailer may have. There are a lot of designers now that go the direct path. And just, sorry, I'll show you one of these quickly. So this is called a tappy turtle, okay? The tappy turtles, they're really cute. Now, they're a baby's toy, but they are popular and they do sell. Same as the xylophones you'll often see, the Fisher-Price xylophones. As long as you're at the right price point, they're generally cheap as chips. With this guy here, just littlies love it because you push the head in, you push the buttons down, and if I'm going to give you a jump scare, it comes out and does that. So that was scary, wasn't it? It is actually a horror. No, it's not. So yeah, there is something always to be on the lookout for. Don't be fooled, and don't sleep on the kids section. There is money in them there, piles of dirt encrusted filth. Okay. It's one of those areas pretty much when you go and you go, there's a very good chance that whatever I buy next, I'm going to have to wash. And that's fine. You bloody wash it because you're trying to make money, aren't you? And feed your family and be ethical and, you know, not fill up storage rooms with abandoned stock that you don't want to sell. That sort of thing. All right. So get this guy back in and I'm going to show you that item that I started bullshitting about, I think, probably 10 minutes ago. Okay. So when you're out on the hunt, guys, I want you to pay attention. If you can see, yep, it does come up well on the camera. Okay, pay attention to your uncle. And if you're not watching because you're listening, just for this moment, look at the TV. See the indentations on this? It's a purse. It's a nice quality one too. It's really soft. You'd overlook it. All right, so don't. So here we go. So this stuff here, this is, like I said, I got it for about either $1 or $3, and it is ostrich leather. So that is literally the texture of the animal's skin. Of course, it's been dyed and treated and all the rest. It's not going to start squawking or whatever they do. But yeah, it was made in South Africa, and $63. Now, I haven't heard of the brand. It says Forensic International, or Forenza International. I even had a typo on it. But thank goodness I had close-ups of all the bits and pieces. But yeah, so this ostrich leather can do well. And if you find it cheap, pick it up. I'm going to rhyme. It will sell. So that's going to America. I'll just throw that in a padded bag. And even though we don't have a lot of stuff right here, right now, we will just quickly throw this stuff into its packaging so as I can take it home and I'll get the labels done. So you get this, right? And I'll aim it down at the table for you. There we go. Come on, come closer, it's okay. There we go. Okay, so with this sort of stuff, even though this would fit in something smaller, stuff that goes overseas, it does not matter. It gets shipped by weight, unless it's I can't remember what the exact dimensions are where they start to get funny about it, but pretty much it is just by weight. What we'll do though is we're going to show it just a little bit more love because I spent a little bit more money. And what I'm going to do is just give it a bit of a cursory additional bit of bubble wrap. Sorry, bubble wrap here. Not a lot, just when they get it. You might also want to consider the hex paper, which does a good job as well. But at the end of the day, I'm just putting it in bubble wrap. That'll work nicely. And the customer knows that, you know, I paid a little bit of extra attention. Not a lot, because there's not a lot to do with it, but the bubble wrap won't add a lot either. And it should still fit nicely into the small satchel, which once again doesn't matter. It's just convenient because it's also another layer of I'm going to pull the tape now because I know some of you wear headphones. Okay, and we stopped. So there, nice and easy, but the customer will feel better knowing that their $63 purse has made the journey intact without additional scrapes or scratches or anything else going on with it. Now, so I'm just going to leave that at the moment I don't have to put anything additional in it. So actually, no, I'll seal it up. And when I get home, I'll do the customs declaration. I'll just write the customer's name down on here. That way I can match it up. So there we are. And done. Next, we've just got the book. Now, this does help a little bit here in that even though the book wasn't a huge sale by any stretch, at the moment Australia Post have a promotion going with this extra small flat rate padded mailer. Don't be fooled, there were typos on them. It says 250 grams. It can be up to 5 kilos. So put your ingots inside here and send them to PO Box 7002, Hyden, Victoria 3216. I will look after them. Okay, so this is going off to Neil, but because of the current promotion, even though I was charging $8 postage, when the promotion's over, I'm sure it'll go back up to that. It'll go on postage band 5, but at the moment I get away with popping it in here for $4.28. Plus, I think we worked out it was roughly 70 cents a mailer, maybe even less. But I'm going to recoup or make a little bit just because of the promotion by using this particular mailer, and that's fine with me. So it sort of turns that smaller amount of profit into a slightly larger amount of profit, bearing in mind that when you do a sales, particularly if you're new, eBay will charge you your fees on both your postage and on the final sale amount, plus any promoted listing fee. So you can go backwards quite quickly. Now, I don't know about these ones. I am going to do a partial refund on the postage for Andrew, but I think that these guys will both fit in this mailer as well. I am determined to, one, protect my business, but also save as much money as I can by utilizing this special offer until the time is done with it. So I am going to put them in a bit of bubble wrap as well, because I know, as someone who likes it, I love my Batman action figures, that if I was buying some, even if they weren't very expensive, I would feel better if they arrived with just a bit of bubble wrap to show that the person actually cared about my purchase. So it's not going to hurt me to do it. And together like that. And then they've still got the hex paper inside these envelopes. About to pull the tape again. In fact, I'll pull it right out of its core. Not an apple core. Okay. That's annoying. If you didn't see, I bought this tape dispenser recently because it was weighted on Amazon, and it's clearly a repack. I'm not at all happy with it. It's got dents in the side of it and scratches on the left-hand side, and you could see where the tape was put back over the box. Thanks whoever provided that to Amazon. All right, so they're your wrestling men, and now they're going into the mailer. They make it nice and easy. And I've done the right thing by the customer, but I've also saved money, and I can also very cheerfully refund half of Andrew's post because I know I'm not out of pocket. Okay, and not forgetting Naomi's mailer in order to get the Goosebumps book sent off to you, mate. I appreciate that. I messaged her to say I didn't think I could find it, then I did. So that worked out well for everyone, but in particular, me. Me. What a tool. All right. So there is nothing else to look at here. Nothing else that I need to do. That work is done, skis. So very basic. I've spoken a bit on things to look for, brands to look for, attributes of certain things, how to wrap them, how to schmack them. So if you do some of that stuff, you'll see your postage game increase. Hopefully it will help some of your sales as well, and it'll help you know what to look for, especially when there's stuff that you're not sure about, like that purse. It was a really quiet day. We were down in Drysdale at one of the United church op shop, not like your uniting church op shops that look like they're bloody boutiques, just an old churchy. And yeah, this thing was just sitting under a bundle of stuff, and I felt, and I'm like, why is that so soft? And yeah, because it was leather, ostrich leather. So that's, take that extra time to learn about those things that you're not sure of, and you will be very, very surprised at the treasure that you find. In any case, guys, time for us to hit the road, and I'll give my lovely lady a kiss goodbye, and then we'll go back, and I probably won't even bother showing you the postage on 3 items. It's not that exciting, but I'm sure that we'll chat before the day's done. All right, let's get out of here, and maybe we'll sneak and have a look at the op shops that are just around the corner to find trick, just in case, guys. All right, just in case. What do you think? Like, we can have a coffee and have a look at an oppo. All the sweetener was down the bottom. Well, as per the rules of engagement, there was a car park. Let's go. Nothing. Well, you win some and you lose them. You win some and you lose them. What a moron. That isn't even the saying. That isn't even the saying. It is funny how things work. I was just reminded of something that happened the other day where people were in an op shop, and you don't know the backstory, but maybe not say things out loud. The person, I've left the boot open. Hang on, please. Hang on. I was in an Oppo the other day, and this person who was known to the staff up the front came up with all this swag, right? And the person behind the counter patted them on the hand and said, "Your money's no good here," and gave them all the stuff that they walked up to the counter with. Your money's no good here, even though the stuff was donated by people who wanted us to make money. You can have their stuff for free. God, I wish I could get my hands into that sort of scenario. The Vinnie's car park is full, so it does not meet the requirement. So we're going to head on home and get the postage finished, and then I'm going to get into listing. Yeah, I've got to get a lot of listing done today. I want to smash it out the park. It's funny, you know, now I've been awake for 8 hours since 4:38. Oh, not 8, jeepers. 7 hours and 35 minutes. Yeah, I want to get stuff done at home today. Knock it over as fast as I can, so as I can have a couple of hours chill. I'll get some preparation done, then I'll try to get some stuff ready that we can have a bit of a live chat tonight. See if it works after the shenaniganeries. I'm hoping that it does work, because I like talking to you guys live. I do. Yeah, get some listing done. Photos. Now, you guys suggested that I get a light box, and I agree. I think that would be good, but I think I need a larger light box, so I need to investigate that. A lot of them that I see are 30 centimeters high, which wouldn't accommodate like a lot of the plushies that I sell. So I need to see if there's slightly bigger ones, as long as it's not detrimental to, you know, the wallet. Basically, I need to get a decent priced one. But I'll be doing all that stuff. I will finish up this video pretty soon, guys. I hope that the stuff that I was telling you about things to look for was helpful. At the end of the day, that's all I want to do. That's the only reason I started the channel, was to help people. And it always gets a bit deeper than that and becomes more of a mix of conversation, and just want to bring a bit of happiness to people if I can. Bring a little bit of knowledge as I learn it, and also tell you when I screw up. I do harp on about that, to learn from my mistakes, but my philosophy is that, you know, that whole saying, like when you're in class and someone asks a question, like they go, "Does anyone have a question?" And the one person asks the question, and it turns out to be that was the question that was on everyone's lips. So my philosophy is tell you if I know the answer, because for all I know, there may be someone else out there with that question on their lips, but they don't know how to say they don't know. So we'll always be doing that, guys, and I love it. Make sure you do check out the Facebook group, Geelong-Flipper family, and that is what I want it to be, a family of people. Something I was thinking is that if you do join it, you've got to answer a couple of questions. They're not difficult ones. It's just to prove that you're actually reading through it, and that you've understood how strict we are about the non-bullying or no nastiness policy. So just know that's a really very real thing. It's going to be a safe space for everyone who wants to join, and I don't even care if it's like someone who, you know, hasn't always enjoyed my channel or whatever. Good chances are they won't join anyhow, but you know, if they want to join and be an effective and positive member of the community, of course everyone is welcome. But I am thinking that maybe to help marry stuff up, because because I don't want to take away from the YouTube comments section. 2 reasons. One, it lets people communicate immediately via YouTube, but those comments also really help me as the creator push the videos out. So the more comments I get, the better the algorithm picks it up and shoots it out. And I do eventually get around to them. That sounds silly, but YouTube just does not show me all the comments all the time. So sometimes I've got to literally hunt for them, and maybe that they don't even show up until I get onto it and search for them actively. But in any case, we're going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate you. You know this. I hope today was informative, gave you something to think about, and what to avoid, who to avoid. And I'll see you on the next video. If something else comes up during the day, I'll tack it on, but at the moment I do think that the rest of the day I'm going to try to have a chill, hard work but chill day, and just getting stuff done, having some good food during the day, and seeing you beautiful people tonight. All right, so until next time, guys, I am your friend, your uncle, your fellow reseller, learning, growing, and finding out something new every single day. And for that, I thank you. I'll see you on the next video. All right, guys, we're off to do the post, and then I've been listing since I last saw you. Had a little bit of lunch too, but off to the post office now. It's only the 5 items, which may not, well, one of them has to go. Naomi's book has to go today, so the Goosebumps book. So we'll get that one gone. Well, we'll get all of them gone actually, because they're in the bag right here. And then that way I don't have to stress or worry about it tomorrow. It's all about trying to free up time. I sold a pair of Colorado boots. I wanted 65. They offered, from memory, it was 50, and I paid $4 for the boots. So that was a good turnaround on those as it gets colder. And today I'm a fool. I'm wearing a t-shirt, but I'm actually chilly. Like inside, I get caught up in things, like, as I'm sure we all do, and I'm sitting there listing and I'm cold because I'm not chucking the heater on just yet, and I'm like, oh God, I'm cold, and I'm sitting in the house in t-shirt and shorts, and I'm wondering why it's cold. Oh baby, it's cold outside, and it's cold inside too, you goose. Wear some more clothes. So I'm gonna go to the shops after going to the post office, get the dinner stuff sorted, and then I'll call it a night. I might even get some salmon tonight, I reckon, with the skin on, make it crispy, put a bit of salad with it. Yeah, more and more it's sounding like a plan, Tori. Yeah, the Colorado shoes, they haven't been paid for yet, so till then it's just an item in a shopping cart. But I heard the ka-ching. There should be 2 tones. One for when it should say something like, someone has said they want this, and then there's the ka-ching when it's paid for. I have noticed, like, I get it with offers that you don't, like, I put that I want immediate payment, and I think that makes sense, because the instant you say you want it, you're taking it out of my shop and preventing other people from buying it, while you either make your mind up about wanting it, or, you know, you're waiting for your payday to come through. And as I've said before, and I will say again, I don't mind if people say that something's sold, as long as they communicate with me and they say, I'm getting it today, but I'll pay for it in 2 days when I get my pay. That's fine. You've spoken to me about it, and I think there's, you know, respect is a two-way street, and this way around, the customer respects you enough to say, hey, this is when I'm going to do it, is that okay? And then you can show the respect by packaging it all up and getting it ready to go. I do like eBay, and I do like how it all works when it works smoothly. When it doesn't work so smoothly, it is upsetting, as with anything that we do, especially when you're striving and hustling every day to make ends meet. But you know what? We'll all get there, that's for sure. And every day that you go to the post office, now that is something that we do have to talk about just quickly before I go. If you're not getting a lot of sales and you're going to the post office like every day for one item, maybe consider adjusting your handling time to every second day or something like that. I go nearly every day, but not every day. My business is not big enough to do for daily shipping to make sense. So I have a 2 business day handling time, and that's what buys me that time over the weekend. That's how I juggle my postage to handle having the day off on Tuesdays, well, as much as possible. So if you are getting stressed by, you know, a high workload when maybe you don't need to have one that is as intensive, please do consider trying to go to the post office a little bit less. It will help you. It will actually save you money because there's wear and tear on your car. And whatever you do, if you are doing this full time, please do remember to have a logbook of your kilometers. Even if there's only, you know, 3 or 4 kilometers a day, it all adds up, and it is something that you can claim. I'm going to duck in the post office now. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, night, whenever you're listening to this. And I appreciate you, and I really, really love the fact that we are sharing this experience together. I'll either see you on the next video, or if I'm not in trouble, I'll see you on the next live. Take care, all right? See you next video. Bye.